Hey, what's up? My name is Outasight, and this is A-Sides with Jon Chattman.
This sound, I want it to surround me. Play it loud, play it loud, play it loudly. A-sides, around, around, around we go. A-sides, press play on life and here we go.
Sure, I mean the transition from New York to LA is, at first, there's definitely a change of pace, is what everyone says. The atmosphere, the attitude in Los Angeles is definitely a little bit more laid back on just an overall general kind of vibe. So I think the transition for me personally was at first a little difficult because I am somebody who has always been around just a ton of friends and family. I have a huge group of friends, and New York is very much home to me. So that was the main adjustment. But I think the laid-back atmosphere actually in Los Angeles helped me very much. Kind of calmed me down. Yonkers is very high strung. I didn't really notice until I came back this time. We did a show in Yonkers, the first time I've ever done a concert in my hometown. And just meeting and talking to people is just, it's very different just kind of mentalities and vibes, but neither is right or wrong, it's just different. And so, yeah. Very much so. Yeah. I think I've definitely, I've just definitely chilled out. Yeah. I got a beautiful home in Los Angeles, and I have an amazing view, and I grill and chill and work in my studio, and I just have kind of had just an amazing experience of making a record with new friends and new people and new atmosphere, and I think it's been really beneficial, actually. I did, yeah. I've worked in kitchens my whole life before I got a record deal. I mean, for me, the studio process has changed over the past few years, because when I was on Warner Brothers and Tonight Is the Night was out, there was what we'd call the A&R process, which is basically a bunch of people being a pain in the ass and just attempting to get you to make, radio-ready, single-driven music. And I've had success in that style of music, so I'm not speaking badly of it. I mean, my success has been at radio and having my songs in commercials, so it's music I want to, I have no problem making pop music, but at the same time I just was running into like every song had to be like with the thought of being a smash record, this, right, that, and the other, and it becomes almost like a daunting process. So then when you get out of that spin cycle, and you have a chance to make your own studio, which I did, and make my own record, which I did, I just kind of got back to basics. And so when I moved to LA, I started just listening to a lot of classic soul and funk records when I was just hanging out. I had a beautiful porch, and I would just grill and crack open a beer, and just was like, this is the mood I was in. So I set off to make that kind of record, a funk record, really a pop record, but with a lot of horns. I know amazing horn players who have contributed to the record. There are horns everywhere, and so this process was very organic, very fun, very easygoing, and I also engineered myself probably 95% of the album, which was a first. So I would spend a lot of time in the studio by myself, just cutting my own vocals and trying different things. Oh, I drive myself crazy, yeah. But I love it because it really does push you. And for me, I've always been a songwriter and a singer, so I'd go to the studio, there'd be an engineer there, a producer there, and I would just do what I do. And I knew how to work Pro Tools, but I wasn't like whizzing around. And so I moved to LA, and I just taught myself. I was like, all right, it's time to put on your big boy pants and really get in there and, you know, take on more of a producer's hat, a vocal producer's hat, and just get things to sound the way I want them to sound. So I think it's really a lot of fun. I enjoy it immensely, actually. Thank you. Yeah, and that's what we were going for, is just a mixture of like funk, pop, and hip hop. Three elements of music that I love to make. So it really just started with our horn player, a guy by the name of Carlos Sosa, and I really want to give credit to the amazing musicians who played with me on this record. So Carlos Sosa played the horns, and he's based in Austin, Texas, so he would send us all these amazing horn stems, and we just like, these are so funky, let's use them, you know. And we didn't, that's really, the Wildlife was the first song we made. We just had these horns and we're just like, this is awesome. Just going through like a hard drive of horns, and Carlos was like, just use them. And my buddy Shaben, who's an Austin guy living in LA, played bass and guitar on it, and then we just jammed, and it was produced by my Cook Classics, who did Tonight Is the Night. So, you know, we all knew how to make that, but for some reason we just heard these horns and kind of just went that way, you know what I mean? So, and then we just made a record. Well, I definitely would like to get on the road and tour to support the record, but we just have to see what makes sense. I mean, right now, we're doing Boston, Minneapolis, we just did New York, coming back and we're going to do New York and Los Angeles shows, a show in Chicago, and kind of go from there. And then I would like to probably jump on a tour with another artist in like-minded ilk and get on the road for sure. But I think that is something that I don't exactly know how it's going to turn out, but I love performing, and I think the new album is going to be really fun on the road. So it's going to be a big party. That's what we're trying to do, have just a really grand old time. So